Hey everyone, we're going to make a coping skills sandwich, or otherwise known as a calm down sandwich. So the materials that you'll need is just a couple pieces of white paper, or you can use different colors of construction paper. You'll need a pair of scissors. I used a Sharpie to outline some of my shapes, but you can use a pencil or a marker, whatever works best for you, and then some different colors of markers. So we're going to make what looks like a real sandwich out of paper. Eventually you're going to have a couple pieces of bread, and then you'll draw some stuff that looks like a tomato and a piece of like ham or turkey or something, and then some lettuce and cheese. So we'll do that together now. I got started, but you can take your time doing these things. So we'll start off with the bread. What I did was I just made it look like what I think bread looks like, or the bread that I eat looks like. And so I took my pen, pencil, or Sharpie, and I drew what looks like a piece of bread. So here, I made two of them because when I make a sandwich, there's bread on either side. So I made a piece of bread and then I colored it in brown. You can color it in whatever colors you have that look like a bread color. The top piece of bread is going to say Jenna's Calm Down Sandwich. You can put your name on this, or whatever you think should be the front piece on your sandwich. On the bottom piece is going to say, remember, it is okay to not feel okay. And this is just a reminder to use our coping skills when we're not feeling okay, and just make sure we notice when we're feeling frustrated or mad or sad or upset. I wrote on there, how are you feeling? So that was a reminder to check in with myself and see how I'm feeling after I try all these coping skills. So all the pieces in between the bread are going to be different things that you can use for coping skills. So once you have your pieces of bread, you make a couple tomatoes. Your tomatoes are going to go on your sandwich. Even if you don't like eating tomatoes, it's a fun thing to add to your sandwich. So I'm going to cut out this tomato. And you can definitely do 2 tomatoes. I was originally going to do that, and then I used my paper. So maybe I'll get some more paper and make another tomato if I can think of an extra coping skill at the end. All right, so I have my tomato cut out. I'm going to make it look more like a tomato, so I'm going to add a couple things on there. Just add some different accents to make it more fun. Now it looks a little bit more like a tomato. And now I'm going to choose my first coping skill that I like to use when I'm frustrated, and that is take 5 deep breaths. And I'm going to write take 5 deep breaths on this tomato. So now this tomato says take 5 deep breaths, and that'll be my first coping skill that I practice when I take out this sandwich when I'm feeling upset. So when we make our sandwich, we'll take our top piece of bread that says Jenna's Calm Down Sandwich, and the tomato will go underneath it. And at the end we can put it together as well once we're finished. So after the tomato, I'm going to do some cheese. The cheese is just a square, just to make it simple. Depends on what kind of cheese you like on your sandwiches. but I just like regular old cheddar cheese or pepper jack, which is usually in a square. So I'm going to color it in yellow. We'll make some American cheese today, or cheddar cheese, sorry. I'm not a big American fan. So I colored in the yellow, and I'm going to cut out the square. Another way to do this is to use construction paper if you have all the different colors of construction paper, but I don't. So I just took different markers and I'm making my own. All right, on this piece of cheese, I'm gonna make it look more fun like cheese. So I'm gonna make some little, what looks like little holes on my cheese. Kind of like what cartoon cheese looks like, because in my opinion, I don't think real cheese really always looks like this, but in the cartoons you always see it looking like this, so just makes it more fun. Alright, so I have my cheese. Now I'm going to think of another coping skill that I use when I'm frustrated and taking deep breaths doesn't work, because that does happen sometimes. So my coping skill after that is going to be drink some water. So if I take 5 deep breaths and I still feel upset, I'm going to drink water. After cheese, I'm going to put some lettuce on my sandwich. So I made lettuce that kind of looks like this. But you can make your lettuce look whatever you want, and I'm going to color it in the color green. If you have limited color choice, that's totally fine. Just color it in with whatever colors you have with you. I mean, you could make it look real funky and do like purple lettuce and blue cheese. Alright, so I colored in my lettuce, and then now I'm going to spend a minute cutting it out. So it might take a little longer because there are some funky edges on there. I like to color in my shapes beforehand because I totally go out of the lines, but it doesn't matter because then when I cut it out, you can't even tell. Also, if you have white construction paper, sometimes this is a little bit easier. I have just printer paper, regular white paper, and it does get a little flimsy and it kind of curls up a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna make it work. Alright, I cut out my piece of lettuce. Looks a little funky. I am going to put another coping skill on there. So most people have more than one coping skill that they use when they're upset. And I definitely have a few because sometimes taking deep breaths and drinking water doesn't make me feel any better. And sometimes I need a third thing to help me calm down. And so there's lots of different things you can do, but one thing that I like to do is get a little bit of exercise. This could look like going for a walk, or, you know, if I have more time, I go for a run or a bike ride or something. But if going for a walk is all you have time for, that's totally fine. That typically helps me feel a little bit better. and get some fresh air if I'm able to get outside. So I'm going to say go for a walk. And then I'm going to kind of just add a little accent to my lettuce. You can make yours look however you want. So I put on there, go for a walk. That's what I'm going to do if I feel upset, and I already tried taking deep breaths and drinking water, and that didn't work. All right. We have one last thing. So the last thing is going to be whatever meat you like on your sandwich. If you don't like meat, totally fine. You can still put a slice of meat on this sandwich just for fun, or you can come up with another thing that, you know, another piece of cheese or something else you'd like to put on your sandwich. Avocado, whatever it is. So for my piece of meat, I'm going to color it in pink just because I'm thinking I'm making like a ham sandwich in my mind. So I just did a circle and I'm going to color it in pink. Sometimes it's hard to make a perfect circle, and it's okay because my circle is not perfect, but if you wanted to make it a little more exact, you could trace something that's a circle, or you can always fix it while you're cutting it. All right, I'm going to cut out this slice of ham for my sandwich. All right, now I just have to think of one more coping skill that I use to make myself feel less upset and calm down. This could be something that I try if all of the other things aren't working, or if I just need something different to try. So I'm going to say that I use drawing, coloring, and writing as a coping skill that I use a lot. To help myself kind of process what I'm thinking about and write about what I'm feeling and how I'm feeling. So I'm going to write draw, color, or write. About my feelings. So this is what mine looks like. Again, I'm going to add, a little bit of extra stuff on there just to make it look fun. There is my piece of meat. So my coping skill sandwich is about done. And since I use this printer paper, everything is kind of folding up a little more than I wanted it to, but that's okay. So it looks like I have a nice, delicious sandwich. I'm going to keep this in a little Ziploc bag, or you guys can keep it somewhere that keeps it all together. And you can bring this to program or school or somewhere where you might need to remind yourself about your coping skills, because sometimes when we're feeling upset, we can't think about what the coping skills are that we're really good at using. And sometimes we need reminders. So I'm going to keep this with me so that I can remind myself. What's cool is there's so many coping skills you can practice, and you can always add to this or change them if you feel like something isn't working and you want to try something else. The other important part is you can always switch up the order. So let's say I am feeling upset, and you know what? I don't want to take 5 deep breaths. So instead I'm going to drink water. And that's what I switch it up to do. You can switch these up however you want. And this sandwich is really fun because you can take off the piece of bread. And I have a tomato that says, take 5 deep breaths. That will remind myself to take 5 deep breaths. And then after that, I'm going to drink some water. And then after that, I'm going to go for a walk and try to get some fresh air. See if that helps me. And if that doesn't help, I'm going to try to sit down and draw, color, or write about my feelings. And then I have this as a reminder that it's okay to not feel okay. And then check in with myself. How am I feeling? After I chart all these things, I typically am feeling a little bit better. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining my class, and I hope you made yourself a little paper sandwich that you can carry around with yourself when you go to program or school or wherever you're going, that you might need some coping skills to remind yourself. Thanks. Have a good day.